It is almost as if Donald Trump gets off by showing us exactly how weak he is. Whether it's his visible cognitive decline, his physical deterioration, falling asleep constantly in public, or admitting just how much he's failing with his war on Iran, Donald Trump is proving every single day why he is the least powerful president in history, despite claiming to be the most powerful. But like I said, Trump once again demonstrated his absolute weakness by cancelling a move mid speech in what can only be described as a total disaster at the White House. And it was just as much of a disaster for Mark Cuban, who showed up to basically glaze Donald Trump and act like he's doing some great job on healthcare. Honestly, I'm pissed about that. We are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now I want to dive into exactly what Donald Trump cancelled in the middle of his speech because he couldn't handle a simple question. But first, we have to start with the $1.7 billion that Donald Trump is effectively stealing from the American people. Something he actually bragged about in this speech before he started falling asleep, cancelling, quitting, and everything else in between.
The Justice Department has this new fund that was announced today, $1.7 billion.
Yeah.
Why should taxpayers pay for the January 6th?
Well, it's been very well received, I have to tell you. I know very little about it. I wasn't involved in the whole creation of it and the negotiation. But this is reimbursing people that were horribly treated, horribly treated. It's anti-weaponization. They've been weaponized. They've been, in some cases, imprisoned wrongly. They paid legal fees that they didn't have. They've gone bankrupt. Their lives have been destroyed. And they turn out to be right. I mean, it was a terrible period of time in the history of our country. And they worked on it. I know the Justice Department, it's really been working on it very hard. There's been numerous other occasions over the years where things like this have been done. But these were people that were weaponized and really treated brutally by a system that was so corrupt, with corrupt people running it, and they're getting reimbursed for their legal fees and the other things that they had to suffer. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure who exactly thinks it's a brilliant idea for Donald Trump to secure a $1.7 billion slush fund for himself and a bunch of January 6th criminals. But I suppose there are people out there who are actually stoked about this. This is all coming to light at the same time new reporting is surfacing about the massive volume of trading Donald Trump has engaged in during the first quarter of this year alone. We are talking about hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in stocks being traded and assets being moved. Donald Trump is shamelessly profiting off the presidency, and now he's grabbing even more of our taxpayer money for his own pocket. But look, that's how it always works with him. In every stock trade, someone is losing on the other side. And Donald Trump is manipulating the entire market to his personal benefit. He doesn't care. In fact, that is the entire purpose of his presidency, to make himself feel important, to avoid a prison cell, and to rake in as much cash as humanly possible. Now sure, he's been successful at avoiding jail and making money so far. But this facade of being big, strong, and tough, not so much. Because right before Donald Trump abruptly cancelled a major move regarding his Iran war in the middle of his speech, he was, wait for it, literally falling asleep.
What the president promised, and for that reason, we ask you today to go look at the site, trumprx.gov, ask us to put you on our mailing list, so when the team at the National Design Studio wants to contact you about new medications that are being offered, new ways for you to save money, new ways for you to make health more affordable, so your zip code doesn't determine your health, you'll have trumprx.gov to go to.
This man's health is an absolute disaster. You know, I was talking about this with Tommy Vietor when I was out in LA doing Pod Save America. It was great catching up with him, but look, this isn't just a critique of the mainstream press. I remember the very first time I made a video, or Midas Touch or Brian Tyler Cohen made a video about Donald Trump falling asleep. The engagement was through the roof. But now, it's almost like the numbers are dipping because it's not big news anymore. And that is insane. I get that Trump falling asleep seems like less of a story because it happens constantly. But the fact that it is happening constantly should be the biggest story in the country. The man's eyes are always closed. He's always sleeping. He can barely even stand at these events. You saw him swaying back and forth. He's sitting there in the Oval Office while his health is clearly and rapidly deteriorating. This has a direct effect on his psyche. It's what has turned him from a low filter person into a no filter person. It's why he's posting AI slop about nuking Iran and making radical, out of control decisions. But his failing health also makes him feel so insecure that he feels the need to lash out. Yet, today we saw the exact opposite. Right in the middle of his speech, Donald Trump actually cancelled an attack that he had planned. I want to look at the post he made and then show you him responding to that cancellation during the speech itself. Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he was asked by Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the president of the UAE, and many others to hold off on their planned military attack on Iran, which was scheduled for tomorrow, and that furious negotiations are now taking place. It's great to know that they worked before and that in their opinion as great leaders and allies, a deal will be made which will be very acceptable to the United States of America as well as countries in the Middle East and beyond. The deal will include, importantly, no nuclear weapons for Iran. I doubt that this is going to happen, but the most important thing is Donald Trump announced that he was going to attack tomorrow and now he is not. He also answered a question about that in this clip that we can see right here.
Post on Truth Social on Iran, and what was the decision that why you didn't attack Iran?
Well, other countries have come to me and they've said we were getting ready to do a very major attack tomorrow. I've put it off for a little while, hopefully maybe forever, but possibly for a little while, because we've had very big discussions with Iran, and we'll see what they amount to. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal. And if we can do that where there's no nuclear weapon going into the hands of Iran, I think, and if they're satisfied, we will be probably satisfied also.
So do I even believe for a second that Donald Trump was actually going to attack Iran? I don't know. But right in the middle of the day, in the middle of a speech, he just abruptly cancels this supposed strike. And I think that happened for a couple of reasons. First, Donald Trump is clearly not in control right now. We saw him being restricted from using military bases in the Middle East for his Project Freedom, which is exactly why it had to be shut down. If you remember, Trump's plan to move ships through the Strait of Hormuz required the assistance of our Middle Eastern allies. And they basically said, we don't want to be involved in this, so you're going to have to shut it down. And now, Donald Trump is effectively admitting that the UAE and Saudi Arabia are the ones calling the shots on when the US does or does not attack. Trump says it's because a deal is coming. This is the same tired routine. He threatens to annihilate an entire civilization if a deal isn't made. And then he says, well, the deal is coming, so we're holding off. This is just Trump recognizing that when he makes these reckless threats, it hurts the market. The same market he's been playing and manipulating, by the way. So instead, he tries to pivot and say, we called off an attack, everything is going great. It's another desperate effort to boost the market. But mid-speech, he's announcing a cancellation because he has zero power. He has no authority and no clear direction for this war. It's not like his threats or actual strikes against Iran have been beneficial. They haven't. This is why I find the conservative argument so ridiculous. The idea that threatening to blow up an entire civilization is good negotiation. The Iranians have made it clear that is not the case. The biggest holdups in real diplomacy are Trump's unhinged threats and Israel's attacks on Iranian infrastructure and southern Lebanon. Trump is publicly cancelling mid-speech because he wants to pretend he's the one in the driver's seat. But he's not. There is no miracle deal being made. Donald Trump is taking instructions from everyone else and displaying his weakness once again. And speaking of weakness, Mark Cuban, what was that all about? Showing up at the White House for Trump RX? Thank you for having me, Mr. President. I've been the biggest proponent of Trump RX. Seriously, Mark?
X.gov. Mark?
Thank you for having me, Mr. President. I think other than you, I've been the biggest proponent of TrumpRx.com.
I am confused by the political move here even more than the moral one. You should be doing absolutely nothing with this administration. Nothing. This is a fascist occupied government. If you smile, wave, or shake his hand, you are a collaborator. Donald Trump doesn't care about healthcare. Trump RX is not some magical fix for a broken system. And Trump certainly doesn't care about you, Mark Cuban. He's using you as a prop because his popularity has never been lower. So why are you giving in to him now, when his approval is hitting an all-time low and he's making yet another move that is going to blow up in his face? I'm talking about him cutting a giant check for himself and for the criminals who participated in January 6th.
I have a question on weaponization. Do you believe that people who committed violence against Capitol Hill police officers on January 6th should be eligible for compensation from this DOJ fund? And are you or your family members going to be seeking compensation from that fund?
It'll all be dependent on a committee. A committee's being set up of very talented people, very highly respected people. I think it's a committee of 5. And again, I didn't do this deal. It was told to me yesterday. They said they're doing something. I do believe there has to be compensation for people that were destroyed. You have families absolutely destroyed, and it's all going to be determined by a committee of 4 or 5 people that are respected and very brilliant at what they do. Yeah, please. Go ahead, please. No, one at a time, please. In the blue, yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
In the blue, yes. Go ahead, please.
Thank you.
Let's be honest here. These people absolutely love violence. They spend all day crying about the rhetoric of the left and how we are supposedly encouraging political violence. Sorry, just bumped my microphone there. But that's okay. We are professionals. We'll keep it moving. The people on the right who constantly claim it's all our fault that this environment exists are the exact same people who are happily cutting checks right now for January 6th insurrectionists. They're out here saying Dear Leader is doing a great job with his little slush fund for criminals. I really don't understand how you can reconcile those two things. You're paying off people who committed violence on Donald Trump's behalf while simultaneously claiming he decries it. It's especially absurd when he's continuing his blatant election denialism, like he did here. He's talking about Maryland, a state I know pretty well. Trump is out there claiming he doesn't believe it's a blue state because he thinks he did well there. And then he drops the lie that 500,000 illegal, fraudulent ballots were sent out.
And I know Maryland pretty well. And I was told that it's automatically a Democrat state. And I don't believe that because I think I did really well there. And I don't believe it. But they issued, as you just got caught recently, 500,000 ballots, illegal ballots were sent out, and they were totally fraudulent. And then
he's basically claiming he won Maryland. We're just going to continue with the election denial, I guess. This is the insecurity of this man. This is the absolute weakness of Donald Trump. And it is exactly what we are going to continue to call out on this show every single day. If you want to support this work and our mission to tell the truth, as always, please hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. And if you've stuck around with me until the very end, drop a blue heart in the comments so I know you're in this fight with us. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'm Liam Prescott, and I'll see you in the next one.